Hello, divine creators. Hello, divine beings. Thank you for joining us. This is Conversations with Kemet. Before we begin, we would like to introduce a new offering, a new service we're providing here on YouTube, and that is Q&A sessions with Kemet, Q&A with Kemet. This is a donations question and answer. And our first one will be this Saturday, the 15th of June at 6 p.m. South African time. And just similar to our soul sessions, it'll be live. The soul sessions we have on Sunday. And usually for those of you who have joined us after the integration, after what we have received for the soul session, the Sunday soul session, and we have completed the integration or anything else that's coming through, we generally go to the chat and we have a look for questions or any topics one would like to discuss. And we really enjoyed that aspect of it, and we thought let's have a different let's separate it so that the Sunday Soul sessions, it's simply us connecting, receiving what is coming through for the day, integrating it, really going into depth with it, and letting that crystallize. And then we'll have these question and answer live sessions with you all. And if you have a question, come through, ask it, we'll answer it, and then if you're inspired you can donate whatever you feel aligned at that time. Any little helps, of course. It all really does make a difference, and it allows us another way in which we can assist you. And naturally, if the question has more has a deeper and more healing and more integration, we'll of course then refer you to join us, or to maybe plan to book a personal session with us. But whatever question we have been we receive, that we will be able to assist you with clarity and with some answers and whatever is required of it. And it's of course a beautiful space. We are all here for this healing, for this learning, for awakening source within us. There is no such thing as a silly or embarrassing question. This is a complete and total rebirthing and a complete and total re-experiencing and re-emergence of source. So feel free to bring some questions to be answered on Saturday, this coming Saturday at 6 p.m. South African time. So the same time as the Sunday Soul session, just on Saturday. And it won't happen weekly. We will let you know. It'll have a life of its own. Definitely for this week. We're not sure if next week. We'll see how it works. We'll see if it's something that feels aligned, and whenever we feel guided to of course have one, we will announce it early in the week. As right now you'll see there is on YouTube, under the lives, there is there's already one for tomorrow, for this Saturday, and of course we'll see you all on Sunday for the Sunday Soul session. Okay. Oh, and just to get all the announcements out, and on OnlyFans we have completed the Pleiadian, the walk with the Pleiadians. There are 20 sessions, 20 days of the Pleiadians, very rich in light codes, very interesting. We've also completed the 5-day abundance integration for those of you who wish to integrate a deeper and higher frequency of abundance. And we will be working on today, day 1 of the Egyptian Temple of Light series. On the Sunday Soul sessions, one of you beautiful beings suggested Egypt, and then there was a flurry of agreement that you would all like to receive some Egypt downloads, integrations. So we will be starting with that. As soon as you had suggested it, we received it. Will be a 3-day, a 3-session integration in the Egyptian temples of light. We're really excited, for it feels very rich and new, a very new energy being anchored at this time, almost a sense of an awakened Egyptian frequency. And we're excited to, of course, bring that forth and to witness how it manifests in our lives. So For those of you who wish to have more alchemy, the OnlyFans page, Kemet.alchemy, it's literally integrations and downloads, and that is where you then receive the tools, the lessons to assist you on your personal journey through the collective or through us on that day, while YouTube will be these beautiful conversational experiencings where we discuss what comes through. This feels like the evolution, or how we as Kemet would like feel at home in these energies. Okay, goodness, we did rattle on. Let us have a conversation. Okay, so when we were walking around town today, the frequency of presence came through, and we enjoy how the frequencies communicate with us at this time. They're very fluid. We'll just be walking, and then, oh, we almost have a bit of a tap on the shoulder or a little tingle, and it's like there's someone wants to connect or to share. And we had a beautiful integration and a conversation with presence, and would like to share that with you all here. Interesting presence, isn't it? It is quite complete and thorough, absolute. And we tend not to apply it that way or treat it that way. Presence, to be present, is to have your whole being present. Your presence is present in that moment. That means all of you is allowed, and all of you is there. There's no aspect of you that is missing. There's no aspect of you that is restricted or suppressed. You are fully there. And in order to be in that state of presence, you are to then release everything. Isn't that interesting? It's an interesting experience. To be present is the absence of everything else. Complete absence, in order for you to be present. And what we mean by that is, for you to be present, you are to release how other people will observe you. You are to release how you will affect or impact other people from being a motivator for how you be. All things of presentation to be released. All things of I'm checking the tick boxes of approval to be released. All external validation outcomes to be released. In the physical, but also in all non-physical spaces. And this is where the presence deepens, because we have been conditioned about the physical realm in this human experience, but also about spirit, about source, right? Through religion, culture, tradition, other practices and beliefs, we have been conditioned about what God is, what energy is, what frequency is. We've been conditioned to also, and these beings, these deities, these gods, these energies, angelic frequencies, however you have been taught, we've also been conditioned that they all have an opinion on you. And that they all need you to behave a specific way. And that they are also of a specific way. So that means we then imprison them in time, for we decide this being is the being of this, not really understanding that those frequencies also evolve, also grow, they also have a life. Thank you very much, humans. They also actually exist outside of you. Believe it or not, there's much more than just humans. So they have a whole life experience that they have. They also evolve, they also learn, they also grow, they also change. They're also up to date. Most humans are not up to date. They still run on old programming. So for you to be present is to understand that your way of being isn't to be influenced by the external illusion, the knowledge of other people's experiencings, how other people have decided for you, what other people believe is the way you should be, how other people believe is the acceptable human way to be, culturally, traditionally, whatever it might be, that's just imposed upon you. And also to release then how you think you need to appear for Source. Because Source says you are Source, we are one. And we want to discover how the frequency of us looks like in the light, in the physical, and that's where you come in. You are a physical frequency, a physical expression, and we Source, you are a unique physical expression of a unique frequency of Source. And this unique frequency of Source, which you are, wishes to express itself, to discover, not a certain outcome, not a certain form, but rather a discovery of that which you be, of that which you become, of how you unfold and manifest and bloom and become. Discover the expression of you. And so this being says, we have never judged what you do. Humans have this notion that we judge how you be. Couldn't be further. For us, it's quite simple. You either create within Source, or in the approximation of Source, or without Source. When you create without Source, in the absence of Source, you then don't create in your truth, for you are fixated on manifesting a life in accordance to the information you have received, in accordance to approval from the external. So you're living what other people expect you to be. Thus, you are not nurturing your own frequency. You're not allowing the seed you are to grow. You have stunted it, put cement over it, and instead are forging yourself in the absence of your core frequency. Naturally, if you're in the absence of your core frequency, you do not learn to love or nurture yourself, to really feel you and feel the truth of you and feel the love of you, and then be able to feel the love of all things. And there was an interesting show. I'm just gonna bring this in. There was an interesting show. When we were still on TikTok, and we had finished uploading, and we were let's have a bit of a doodle. We've released much of the external doodlings now, and one of a show came on. We will not say who it is, because it's not really about that. And one of the guests was this being identifying as a woman, and they were talking about, almost icks, which are things that turn you off about the person you're attracted to. And she was talking about men, and how she doesn't really enjoy the idea of them taking baths. That baths they feel are more for more of that feminine gentility. Like, unless it is for passion, or you're trying to set the mood, men shouldn't really bath. They can't imagine just a man in a bath with bubbles relaxing. That's not a thing for them. And it was interesting because previously in the conversation, she had mentioned how she would like someone who's nurturing and caring. And I'm like, how contradictory. How can you expect somebody to nurture and care and consider and create a beautiful environment for yourself when they don't even do it for themselves, or you don't even want them to do them for themselves? You do not wish for them. You think it's a wrongness for them to relax, wind down, learn the benefits of centering, relaxing, taking it easy, looking after yourself, tender care and nurture. Because only when one understands that for themselves can they then consciously be able to sense and then be inspired to assist, or to create a frequency of nurture and care for the other. right? So that was an interesting thing, and that for us was a very clear understanding of one creating the absence of their truth, not learning how to nurture self. Thus, naturally, you cannot nurture the other. Not knowing how to care for self, thus, you can't care for the other. Being harsh, cruel to self, thus, being harsh and cruel to others. Being abusive to self with your thoughts and your ways, thus, naturally, you can be abusive to other people. So, source nurses, they're those creating the absence of source. And how they treat themselves and how they view themselves in the absence of themselves, thus the absence of love, is the life they lead. There are those who are, half and half. They understand that they're source, but then they also want to please people around them. So it's sort of like a seasonal thing, or when they feel like it, when the mood strikes. So they're also in between, never really in one world or the other, and never really creating an authenticity. It's all a bit of a muddle. And so complications and stresses and muddly, splintery energy, sometimes great, sometimes horrific. That's what then the outcome will be, because you're sort of deciding that source is a frequency to be shelved when you are source. So you shelve yourself, you dishonor yourself, you remove self. And then when it's convenient, you engage self. So it doesn't allow us, there's no building. The stability is flaky. There's no progression. You are stuck in cycles, in between, in limbo. And then there are those, of course, who then understand their source, and then they apply this knowledge. And like you beautiful beings who are aligned to these energies and these kinds of works, other healers were awakening, not only us as Kemet, but whoever and however you are accessing your frequencies in your own individual lives, you are understanding your source and you are doing the work to be source. Even though you know the work is not easy, for it means releasing a lot of the ways in which humans operate. So you become a lot more isolated in your ways of thinking. You're no longer people pleasing, so then people no longer have a benefit for you, so they sort of dismiss you or they're irritated. It is an interesting journey, right? But then there are those, yes, of you who then create a source. Thus you learn to nurture yourself. You allow yourself to take a bath. Thus you can very happily run a bath for your partner when they're stressed, because you understand it, because you get it. Humans are fascinating. So it is that energy. So sources, we don't judge how you be, for how you be is simply where you focused on. It's really simple. So all we do as source is we meet you where you are. We meet you where you are. So should you create in the absence of source, you will then attract frequencies external in the non-physical who also create in the absence of source. So those will be your guides, the guides of mischief and the guides of, destruction and wickedness and abuse. And that's the team you are asking for advice. That's the team you are co-creating with. However you believe, that is where that frequency comes in. That is how the energies meet you. We meet you where you are. Should you then be in between, then yeah, sometimes energies that assist you to be source, sometimes energies that take you away from source. Then naturally, as you create within source, as source, then your team changes to beings who then teach you everything of the illusion so that you can then be source. And they're saying, you beautiful beings have done the work to ascend from the illusion past the in-between to source. So you have shifted from the guides of illusion And when you were there, you wanted more, so then they were able to come through the guides of source to assist you to get past. Then you were sort of in between, not really wanting to let go, but then letting go, and then not really sure, and then finally understanding, actually, this is not okay, we deserve more, and then boom, now you are source. And they're saying, and now we are no longer in that role of guiding you to source. So when you ask us for stuff, we don't know, and when you ask us of our opinion on you, we also don't really have a opinion, because when you were in the illusion, yes, we could say, well, this doesn't assist you, this will assist you. Okay, that is a frequency that, that will not help you, but this will help you. Yes, when you were waking up, when you were still operating in the absence of you, we could definitely give you reference points so that you can choose, you yourself can choose whether you want to stay there or progress to where you want to be. And it's because you asked for more that we're here. Should you have been satisfied where you were, we would not be there. We're not here because we have made it our mission to come and stick our business in your business. No. You said, oh, we would like more. We're like, oh, well, then this needs to, you have to be aware of this behavior, you have to be aware of these principles, and this behavior will then need to change in order for you to then receive what you're asking for. So yes, we can give you some comparisons. Yes, when you're asking, we can give you a few more, we can give you clarity. When you are asking a bit of a review of sources, there's something that I need to do, we can say, oh yes, well, this behavior doesn't assist, or that relationship doesn't assist. So yes, we can. But now that you're source, now that you're here, you need to let us go from how you utilized us. For we're no longer guiding you to source, you are source. You're simply now to allow yourself to be fully present in that moment. And as you do this, we are then fully present with you in that moment. And you will feel us around you. And you'll feel us walk with you. And you'll feel us play with you. And you'll feel us engage with you. And we'll feel us guide you, not because we are directing you, but simply because, oh, something there feels amazing. Let's try that. Ooh, that person is interesting. Let's go say hi. Oh, that store looks fat. Let's just go in there. But oh, we don't. Just walk in there. You'll see. Don't worry about the cash. Just go in there and see. So now they are present with you, the spiritual team, assisting you. They're no longer these gods and goddesses on a pedestal removed from you. They are now these co-creative frequencies with you, present. You have now released the imprisonment of source. You've now released imprisoning all those beings in the imaginings of humanity, or the ways that humans have decided they are. And so saying, yes, in the past, how humans channeled and experienced them, that is how we were for that time, at that stage of our personal evolution where you are. Remember, we meet you where you are. So should you understand us as a certain being of this, that is how we meet you, as a certain being of that. And that is the limitation in which we can assist you. But the more you release us to source, as you release yourself to source, the more we can then be with you as a current frequency. And the more you can then engage with us, not as these gods and goddesses above you and away from you, judging you, but rather as these beings, source energy as you are, co-creating with you currently, where they can come in and out of your frequency, always at ease, always at divine time. You're co-creating with them now, because your experience now in the present as source, they learn from. You have a very beautiful, specific experiencing of the physical, which all source can learn from. But source can learn from it when you are source. Source doesn't want to learn from the illusion. That doesn't interest. That is not progress. That is stagnation. But you being present, that is current evolution. That is source currently expanding, learning, and growing. And it requires you to release everything. Releasing of self, releasing of everyone in the physical and everybody's opinion and what everybody thinks, releasing of everybody in the spirit, in the non-physical, in the source realms, what they might perceive. But you are just present in your well-being, in your love, right there. And this is how you be all day. Not micromanaging yourself, not directing yourself, not punishing yourself, not criticizing yourself, not anything, beating yourself up. You are now just at ease, at rest, within your frequency. And in this space, all of your beautiful team, they say if it allows you to, the beautiful energies, the guides, the spiritual team says if it allows you to soften a bit, you can even say they're your colleagues, your peers, just so that you understand that you are of their equal power. At source, you're connected to all of the source, and all their frequencies and wisdom runs through you, channels through you, is available to be accessed by you in a very unique way that you do it. This is how Kemet does it. This is our unique connection with Source, that we can connect to all the information and all the beings, and we can share information and anchor it in, and we can awaken information in other beings should they be ready for it, which is what we do with our soul sessions and our personalized energies, personal sessions, and everything we do here is to release the illusion for you to come to a more authentic experience, and then witnessing the abundance, discovering the abundance of that authentic experience, discovering the love of that authentic experience, and discovering the path to it. Every single one of you is capable of wealth, love, abundance, all of it, at your source, at your frequency. And it's so when you are there, receiving the intuitive frequencies, the guidance, trusting it without question. Because when you question it, they say, we don't know. You're questioning, you want us to give you specifics. We are not about specifics, because then we direct ourselves. Source doesn't want to condition itself. It wants to discover itself. You are Source. You are an aspect of Source discovery in this physical. So the best way for this to happen, the best way for you to discover it, the best way for you to be this discovery is for you to allow yourself freedom. And to allow yourself freedom means I release the observation of everyone else. What everybody else thinks of me, how people have the idea of how they think I should be. Every single one, whether it is a loved one, a child, a parent, whatever, we release all of them from having an opinion as to how I am to be. I simply allow myself to be Source, to be love, to be well-being. And from that space, I will be intuitively guided to what allows that love and well-being to be the default setting to everything I do. Thus, whether it is a child, a parent, a lover, a stranger, they meet us at well-being, at love, at wholeness, at abundance, at all times. And whatever I'm inspired to do meets me at abundance and love at all times. And Source is saying, you are all learning. Those of you who are awakening, you are learning to release us from those pedestals in order to respect your frequency, to allow it to be without having a care about what others think. And it doesn't mean you don't care about yourself. It means you care enough about yourself to allow yourself to be. You don't overrule yourself with others. no matter who they are. Even Source says, we don't want you to be something other than yourself for us. We're actually interested in who you truly are, and we don't judge anything you do or be. You're the only one judging anything you do or be. And should you allow yourself to simply be love at all times, then no matter what you do and be, it's a healing of love. And presence, to fully embody the frequency of presence. That is how to be connected at Source at all times. That is how to navigate all the experiences you're going through. Release what everybody else thinks of you. Release what any deity, entity, whatever thinks. Release all from any opinion of you. Then you are free to feel where you are in honesty, in open honesty, because you're no longer feeling where you are in accordance to what other people maybe might think. No, you're just, this is where I be, and I feel where I be. Now that I feel where I be, is this where I want to be? No. Okay. What is feeling off? Okay, that feels off, release. That feels off, release. That feels off, release. Okay. Better. But it could be more. Actually, that feels good. That feels good. Oh, there we go. This is nice. Okay. Great. This feels really good. This feels like ease. This feels like love. This feels like happiness. We want everything to manifest through here. We want abundance and wealth that feels like this. Ease, good, love, happiness. And then we will allow whatever paths that awaken, whatever shifts that need to happen, that are happening because we are maintaining this frequency, and everything else is now aligning to this frequency. We're maintaining this feeling of well-being. And what feels good to you, remember, good and bad and right and wrong, those really don't exist. We are Source eternal. These are different expressions. Remember, those creating within the presence of Source and the absence of Source. It's just all how people are creating. So what really feels good to you? And should you be at Source within your well-being, you would never do anything that would harm yourself or your frequency or harm anybody else. So it's a discovery of goodness. Not this makes you feel good or this is a good thing, but rather, oh wow, what an amazing being. They came through and they did this. It felt so good. Wow, I didn't even know that that was what I needed today, but it really felt so good. You're now in the experiencing of the frequency of goodness, the frequency of abundance, the frequency of wealth, the frequency of you. You're now finally discovering the Source you are. And yes, the guides, your team, your colleagues, your beings, your collective family, they might come through from time to time and suggest here, suggest that. Mainly, they will just tap you on the shoulder should you be denying yourself Source, for they want to meet you in power. So should you call upon them, they are always at Source. They don't deviate from Source. Understand this. So should you ask them to come in, then what is disallowing you, the being of Source comes to the surface. We, Kemet, we do not operate through fear. We release fear. Whenever we feel an inkling of fear, or that anything, a choice we're making is out of fear, then we literally, for example, when we were guided to release TikTok, we didn't have fear, but we were just like, oh goodness, well, we're used to being there, okay, another change. And we thought, okay, well, you know what, let's go. But if we said no, Source, we can't. If we release TikTok, then we fear that that's not a good enough reason for us not to do anything. We do not operate. Fear isn't the basis of any choice we make or response. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve you at all. It creates everything that takes away from your power, your love. This we know so deeply, for we've experienced the manifestation of fear around us and through us. So we remain within love, and we understood love. To truly allow love is to allow yourself to be fearlessly. Thus, you're allowing yourself to discover that which you are. You're allowing the truth of yourself to be. Which is why when we channel with you all beautiful beings, many of you will say, you came through the TikTok and you felt at ease, you felt it this, you felt it this, the headache went away, or this went away, or this cleared. Why? We are at truth, at openness. So wherever you are not at truth will be shown, will come to the surface of your consciousness to be released. Whatever is denying you the discovery of love will come to the surface of you release, because we meet you here, and we will not go into fear for you. We will not go into the illusion for you. We remain here. And so you feel the shift. And that's what you're asked to be, as source. Remain at source. And as you remain at source, whoever comes to you, whatever prevents them from being source, will come to the surface of their consciousness. Should they be fearless and daring and courageous enough to do the work, they'll release whatever it is, and source awakens. For at source you awaken source. Should they not want to face it, well, then they'll gaslight you, tell you you're too much, you're too sensitive, or they'll run away, or they'll just react, because that almost is, let's throw something, distract you, and then run away. Let's try and ruffle your feathers and run away. And you are just remaining in that frequency, not giving the reaction, or do not deviate, do not change, do not now people please, because then that's when you feel, you feel odd, you feel weird, you feel taken advantage of, you feel abused, you feel bullied, you feel hard done by, you feel all these things because, well, you have taken on that energy. The energy they didn't want to heal, they literally went on you and you took it all up, as opposed to, no, that's yours to heal. Nope, that's you. You can react as much as you want, that's you. You can use as much guilt tactics as you want, that's you. You can manipulate and gaslight, that's you. We remain here, 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 we remain at source, remain at source, remain at source, remain at source. At source, at source, at source, at source, at source, at source, and source. So they have to either be source or they have to leave. Either way, you're at source. Everyone in the physical, everything in the non-physical. That's why you never have to fear, a negative entity comes through, somebody came through. How many clients we've had and somebody cursed us. We're like, nothing can happen to you unless you agree to it happening. If you agree that somebody cursed you, they did. If you agree that some energy is trying to come to you, then that's your agreement, because nothing can touch you unless you decide it can. That's your power. So once you are simply at source, anything that comes to you has to be at source. It's a truth, it's a fact, it's simply the rules of creation. As within, without, it is absolute. That is why it's divine creation. No one can truly take away from you unless you allow them to, by deciding that their opinion and their gaze upon you influences how you be. Presence. So beautiful beings, be aware of you. Each moment, are you shifting for others? Going out of your frequency for others? No matter who they are, understand they also need to learn. True love is allowing everyone to be at love and at source. At source, your intention would never hurt them. It truly won't. Now, it might not be easy for them to digest your power. For now you're in your power. And now you do not let fear control you as they've let fear control them, should they be operating in the illusion. And now they need to do the work. to heal themselves to love. Or not. Either way, you are finally allowing yourself to be source. And you're not imprisoning yourself in other people's or other frequencies' illusion. Source says, release the ideas of us too. Release us. Let us be free. Stop deciding what we are and how we be. Let us be free like you. We are also discovering, we're also expanding, Yes, we are powerful and all-knowing, but that's because we have the collective energy, the collective memory, the collective wisdom, the collective knowledge and skills of everything ever in existence right now. Yes, we are powerful. And all this power and knowledge is available for you. It always has been. All you need to do is stop deciding how it looks like, how it becomes, but rather allow yourself to discover how this energy, how this wisdom, how this knowledge manifests through you. And trust that that's the life you really want to live. Trust that that is the path to your abundance. Because when you are there, you are now fully the magician. And what you will becomes. Because now you are accessing the frequencies freely from source that will allow your want to manifest in the physical. And you might not know how that want will manifest, that desire, that feeling of goodness, that feeling of love, that feeling of abundance. You might not know how, the shape, the person, the place, you don't know. Yet, the way it feels, and you're all getting there. It takes patience, gentility, and for now, conscious maintenance of that presence. The more you do it, the less it needs to be a conscious thing, and you are simply at presence, at a default state of being. All the power of the universe, of all the universes, of all of creation within you, for you to access and discover. It's when you try to manipulate and control and use it. That's the folly. Because now you disempower it. It has to now, and you are trying to control and manipulate to use it, it now has to control and manipulate others in your reality. It's no longer a pure frequency. It's now imprisonment. It's now manipulation. It's now aggressive, a binding, as opposed to, source. It's a new day, and every day I'm new, every moment I'm new, actually. Fascinating. Every moment we are new. So source, in this new moment, every moment we're abundant than the last. Each moment more abundant than the last. Each moment more love. Each moment more source. Each moment more present. Each moment, source, we're just allowing ourselves more and more. So what do we receive this moment, this day? What do we learn? What comes through? What do we receive? What do we offer? What do we give? How do we teach? How do we serve? How are we looked after? How are we nourished? How are we cared for? This co-creation energy. What's available for us today, Source? Thank you. We remain here within your presence, our presence. We remain here within love and well-being. We remain here within ease and peace. We no longer give anxiety, frustration, and fear, and we no longer fear the unknown. We no longer fear uncertainty. We understand that the unknown, uncertainty, the undefined, that is where all the power lies. For now, everything and anything we are can be, can materialize, can become, at ease. Whatever is easily and readily available for us now. Okay. Every day, better. Better every day. Better every day. Better every day. Oh no, here it comes. Oh no, end of the month. Oh no, here's the bank statement. Oh no, and so saying, there we go. Feel it, release, release, release. Release the fear. You know you've got this. You know you've got this. All you have to ask is, Source, we wish to sort this out. How? Please bring it through. Show us how. How do we clear this statement, clear this account? How do we buy that home, travel the world? What kind of work really allows the abundance? Do we need to change it completely, or are there minor tweaks? What kind of tweaks can we make to bring stability? And you just trust what you're guided, because Source is saying, we don't really know. This just, what you're asking, this is what it feels like. Do this, do this, do this. Don't ask us a time frame. Don't ask us, is this really what? Just, you asked, this is the energy we feel from you, and we are where you are. So do this, do this, do this. Should that not be satisfactory, feel again where you want to be anchored in, and then guess what? New instruction, do this, do this, do this. And the more you are just allowing yourself open honesty as to how you feel, as to your vibration, as to your connection with Source in each present moment, the clearer the guidance will be. For then you give us a clearer attunement. You give Source, you give all creative components a clearer attunement to your frequency. Presence. It's an absolute frequency, not a serving suggestion. So be present, fully present in presence. Let your whole presence be present every time. Releasing all else. Feel. Anchor the feeling. Oh, yes. And experience your existence there. As always, it's a pleasure. Blessed be.